Tonight at 5, the Farmers Market at Monona Terrace is moving this weekend, where shoppers should go now and what will be available. Plus, the White House announcing delays on some of the president's tariffs. We'll tell you which household items it will affect. Plus, after blocking a bipartisan effort to extend Medicaid for new mothers, News 3 Now asks the Assembly Speaker why he did it. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Susan is off tonight. We begin with new information. We now know the names of two people found dead in a home in Rock County the day after Christmas. 53-year-old Tammy and 54-year-old Jeffrey Borgwart, both of Evansville, were found dead just before 5 o'clock in the evening. It was at a home on North Marsh Road in the town of Magnolia. Deputies found the two while performing a welfare check there. We're still waiting for results on how they died, but the sheriff's office there says there is no threat to the public. For updates on this story, many others, get information as we get it by downloading the free Channel 3000 mobile app for updates directly to your phone. Now for a look at your first warn forecast, Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington tracking a bit of a warm-up on the way, Alex.
I sure am, and let's let the cat right out of the bag here. Temperatures into the upper 30s to 42 by the time we get to next Thursday, even trailing off temperatures later in the 10-day period normal for this time of year. So that warm-up is on the way to southern Wisconsin. Our temperatures tonight about where they should be, in the mid to upper teens. Clouds will be back on the increase across southern Wisconsin. Some clouds as we go and work our way into Saturday with, we can't rule out an isolated snow shower or two, especially for areas north and east of Madison, with highs in the lower to middle 20s. So we're inching our way, our temperatures back up a bit more by day by day by day. And then Sunday evening, a wee price to pay here. Some light snow, some freezing drizzle, and some slick spots. This is preceding that warm-up. When I come back in a few minutes, we will track that light snow and that freezing drizzle. I'll let you know when to expect it and when you can expect that light snow to end. That's coming up in just a bit.
All right, Alex, thank you. Right now, the ramp from County End to I-39-90 North remains closed because of this crash, a semi slamming into a power pole. This is about 2:30 this morning near McFarland. Multiple agencies responding to the scene. Crews learned the driver lost control and got trapped after that pole landed on his semi. Power was shut off to the downed lines. The driver taken to the hospital. He is expected to survive. In a separate incident, a car that crashed into a utility pole in Madison shut down some lanes. The northbound lanes of Fish Hatchery Road closed near the UW Arboretum at the intersection with Carver Street. The Madison Fire Department and crews with Madison Gas and Electric were at the scene. Drivers have been asked to avoid that area. It was a big year in the Wisconsin state legislature. Lawmakers coming together from both sides of the aisle to reach an agreement on the state budget. But the willingness of both parties to come to the table on some issues wasn't enough to get one piece of legislation passed. In the Assembly's final floor session of 2025, Speaker Robin Vos essentially blocked legislation to expand postpartum Medicaid coverage. And that bipartisan effort would have extended coverage for new mothers to 1 year after giving birth. Currently, Wisconsin is one of just 2 states that does not have that expanded coverage. In year-end interviews with the Speaker and the Assembly's Minority Leader, political reporter Ellie LaLiberte asked why Speaker Vos blocked that legislation and what Democrats think should happen next.
So we have done a really good job providing a social safety net already in Wisconsin. I think the idea of expanding welfare might feel good, but in the end, it's not good for the mom, it's not good for society, and it's certainly not the best interest of the state of Wisconsin.
My hope is that his caucus, our Republican colleagues, will push on him to say, this is something that the people of Wisconsin want, it's the right thing to do, and we can't allow this to stall any longer.
You can hear more from those interviews, including whether Speaker Vos thinks the legislature will take up the legislation again in the new year, this Sunday on For the Record. It airs at 10:30 a.m. right after CBS News' Face the Nation. And in other political news, Governor Tony Evers will give his State of the State address February 17th. This will be the governor's final State of the State. He announced last year he would not seek a third term. Governor Evers has not endorsed a candidate in the crowded Democratic primary field to replace him. More local news now. If you're itching to head back to the farmers market, you won't need to wait very long. Armaya Tate met with the assistant market manager for the Dane County Farmers Market to learn more about the upcoming winter farmers market.
Yeah, Eric, the Winter Farmers Market is back this weekend at the Garver Feed Mill, and you might see some familiar summer favorites. Stella's Bakery, Westridge Organic Farm, and Renaissance Farm are just a few that you may see. But aside from grabbing some of your favorite items, Rachel Figueroa from the Dane County Farmers Market says that shopping local helps keep business in Dane County and the food system running.
A lot of our small-scale farmers don't have many opportunities to sell their produce during the winter, so it's really important to come out to the Winter Farmers Market each week so that they can make a living throughout these months.
Figueroa also says that shopping at the Winter Farmers Market is more personal than just running to the store. Instead, you can chat with vendors and learn about their products. Every Dane County Farmers Market also offers the use of SNAP and EBT services to ensure that everyone can buy local goods. The market runs now until April 4th from 8 a.m. to noon in the main event space at the Garver Feed Mill. For a full list of vendors each week, you can check out the Dane County Farmers Market social media or newsletter.
All right, Maya, thank you. The Trump administration says it's delaying proposed tariff hikes on imported upholstered furniture, kitchen cabinets, and vanities by a year. The administration cited ongoing negotiations with trading partners. For now, the levies will remain at 25%. Commerce Department and Italian officials also confirmed that tariffs on Italian-made pasta have been rolled back. It follows the Trump administration's reduction of levies on a range of products like beef, coffee, and bananas over consumer affordability concerns. A recent CBS News poll found that more than 60% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy and inflation. January is the biggest month for returns as unwanted holiday gifts head back to retailers. Consumer reporter Michelle Renee Quinn shares the deadlines and new fees you want to keep in mind.
Tens of millions of dollars in holiday gifts will be sent back this month, and be prepared to pay up. More than 70% of retailers are charging for returns this year, and the National Retail Federation says 17% of all holiday sales will be returned, and 82% of shoppers will return at least one unwanted gift within the month. The CEO of Happy Returns says the fees cover big costs like shipping and handling, or if the item is damaged, the fees help pay to refurbish them. He suggests to read the fine print and opt for an in-store return if possible.
It's just much less friction than having to print a label, find a box, tape it up, and wait to get your money back. And they often are the cheapest form.
Be sure you know your return windows. Big retailers like Walmart, Amazon, and Kohl's have a cutoff date of January 31st. For items bought from October through December, Best Buy has a return deadline of January 15th. Macy's is until January 31st. Target's extended holiday return policy applies to items purchased on November 1st through December 24th, and you can return those until the 24th of January, which is the same deadline as home goods. Returns for Apple and Beats products at Target have a much shorter deadline, and that's January 8th. That's next Thursday. And it applies to purchases made at Apple as well. But if you have gifts from TJ Maxx or Marshalls, you have until February 4th to return them. And if you miss a return deadline or want to avoid fees, you can always resell unwanted gifts or continue to spread the cheer with the age-old practice of regifting or swapping with a friend.
And you can follow Michelle Renee's Consumer Reports during the week or watch her on Saturday and Sundays anchoring News 3 Now weekend mornings. Well, travelers have just 1 month left to update to the Real ID before the Transportation Security Administration imposes a new fee. Airport passengers who don't present a Real ID or other acceptable forms of identification like a passport or permanent residency card will be required to pay $45 in order to fly starting February 1st. TSA warns that air travelers could experience longer wait times if they don't have that acceptable form of ID. Not much at stake this weekend for the Packers as a team, but when they go to Minnesota to face the Vikings, for individual players whose names you may not know very well yet, this is a massive opportunity. Our News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde explains.
With the Packers locked into the number 7 seed in the NFC, they have nothing to play for in terms of their playoff positioning. They just await the news of whether they'll play the Philadelphia Eagles or the Chicago Bears in their first-round playoff game. But don't tell a bunch of the guys that'll be playing on Sunday against the Vikings that this is a meaningless game. In fact, for many of them, it is a huge opportunity to either show the Packers that they are worth keeping around in the future or show other teams when they may be looking for work that they are capable NFL players.
I think it's anytime you get an opportunity to go out and play in a National Football League game, especially in the regular season, I mean, that's a pretty big deal because everybody's watching this tape. And certainly I even think the preseason is huge for anybody, especially guys that maybe not have a whole lot of tape. So really the only teams that know about them are wherever they've been. So it's a great opportunity for all our guys to go out there and compete and see what they can do.
We'll see who gets opportunities and who shines on Sunday, and you can watch that game right here on Channel 3. The game kicks at noon from US Bank Stadium. We'll have coverage leading into the game and of the game itself from Minneapolis on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
And once again, our thanks to Jason. The Packers game against the Vikings airs right here on CBS. Kickoff at noon. And while Jordan Love is cleared to play, he will only do so as an emergency backup option as third stringer Clayton Tune is set to start. And still ahead tonight, some clouds, possibly snow this weekend. Things start to change on Monday. Alex will tell us what to expect in its complete first warn forecast. And a strong earthquake rattles southern and central Mexico today. How powerful it was, and we'll fill you in on the extent of the damage. And after more strikes, what the president of Venezuela is saying in an interview that's leading some to believe he may be changing his tune on making a deal with the U.S. over those alleged drug smuggling boats. And we'll bring you an update from police in Switzerland. They've identified the likely cause of a deadly bar fire on New Year's Eve. And before the break, a look at how Wall Street ended the week. The Dow closing up 319 points. The Nasdaq loses about a half dozen. S&P gains 13. News 3 Now is back after this.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
No serious damage to report in Mexico after a strong earthquake hit the country earlier today. The 6.5 magnitude quake rattled the southern and central parts of the country. It interrupted the Mexican president's first press briefing of the new year. The state's civil defense agency reported multiple landslides as a result. President Trump's pressure campaign on Venezuela may be yielding some results. That country's leader is now signaling he's open to making a deal. In an interview on state TV, President Nicolas Maduro said Venezuela is ready to negotiate with the U.S. to combat drug trafficking. It comes after U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats this week have killed at least 8 people. We are learning more about the devastating New Year's Eve fire at a bar in a Swiss mountain town that killed about 40 people and injured almost 120. Many of the victims were in their teens or early 20s. CBS News' Kamal Afzali has more from London and a warning. Some people may find parts of the video shown to be disturbing.
In an update on the New Year's Eve fire investigation, Swiss officials say it appears the trigger was sparklers in champagne bottles that got too close to the ceiling, leading to a flashover fire where everything that's flammable in the room quickly ignites.
Everyone was banging on the windows and stuff, screaming. It was like a horror movie, but they couldn't get out. I think the windows were too thick.
Cell phone video shows flames sweeping across the wooden ceiling of the bar La Constellacion in Crans-Montana at a celebration ushering in the new year. This is a promotional video the bar posted in 2024. 19-year-old Nathan Uganin was outside when the fire started and said he saw people completely burned and dying. Students in the town, including Americans, expressed shock, saying they could have been among the victims had they decided to attend that party.
It's one of those places you go to, everyone goes to bars to party and do those things. It's weird, it's eye-opening, and it gave me a sense of gratitude.
Many of the injured are in critical condition, flown to more than half a dozen hospitals in Switzerland. Around 50 of the victims are being transferred to facilities in neighboring countries because burn units are overwhelmed. Kamal Afzali, CBS News.
Officials say it could take days or longer to identify some of the victims. Back in the U.S., federal officials say they stopped a potential terror attack on New Year's Eve. An 18-year-old man had been planning for a year to attack a grocery store and fast food restaurant just outside Charlotte. Officials say they found potential weapons under the suspect's bed and that the plan was ISIS-inspired. Well, 2 days into the new year now, we're ready for a warm-up. Chief Meteorologist Alex Arrington is here now with the full story. Alex?
Yeah, sounds good to me. Let's warm all the way up into the upper 30s, right around 40 degrees, if not 42 by the time we get to next Thursday. So big warm-up on the way for southern Wisconsin. We got a wee little price to pay, though, to get there first. It's part of the 3 things you need to know. Some clouds, that's part of our price that we're going to pay here, and then a little light mix that we need to track as we go into Sunday night. That's going to lead and precede to this warm up that we expect next week. So let's track that weather system here. First, clouds filling back in tonight as we go throughout the day on Saturday. We can't rule out the possibility of a snow shower or 2, especially for areas north and east of Madison. But it's as we go into Sunday, after a partly cloudy night Saturday night to start off Sunday, clouds fill back in and we see this mix develop, especially Wisconsin, River Valley, Madison, I-94, areas to the north up towards Juneau, Adams, Marquette, and Green Lake County stand that better chance of seeing this mix. If it's quick, it moves out of here by the time we get to 6 o'clock Monday morning. That weather system's already out here. So that's the tiny little price that we need to pay here. And I want to widen things out here because it's not just southern Wisconsin experiencing this weather system. If you have travel or plans up towards Minneapolis and northern Wisconsin, all of the state will see this mix of rain and snow briefly Sunday evening before it scoots off to the east very quickly. And then the winds come out of the south and from the west. And that's the warm stuff that's going to be building in by the time we get to Monday. But don't let your guard down here. The price to pay, as I've been mentioning, snow showers, freezing drizzle, and a couple of slick spots as we go into that Sunday evening commute. So get ready for that weather system. Ahead of that, clouds filling in tonight. We'll do a low of 13 in Juneau County, 14 up towards Baraboo and the Dells, 14 here in Madison, 17 in Janesville, and we'll do the upper teens to right around 20 in far southwest Wisconsin. With the clouds filling back in overnight tonight, and as I mentioned, we can't rule out that isolated snow shower or two as we go on into Saturday. High temperatures ranging from 21 in Baraboo to 24 in Madison, 24 in Platteville, and 23 tied in Monroe and in Janesville for Saturday afternoon. Then looking here at our full extended 10-day outlook here as we go into Sunday, temperatures warming up to that 28. There's the 30s again. I was showing that 42 by the time we get to Thursday. Can't rule out a shower on Tuesday. Can't rule out a shower on Thursday. Weather models hinting at a weather system that brings a mix of rain and snow as we go into Friday. And we'll keep an eye on that weather system. On the tail end of that, we could get a little bit of snow accumulation, but that's quite a few days out here. No alert days are in the forecast at this point in time. Now, here's a graphic you haven't seen in a while, the drought monitor. We still have moderate to severe drought conditions south and west of Madison. So I want southern Wisconsin to know, even though the amount of snow that we've had this year is more than what we saw in the entire winter season last year, we're still dealing with drought conditions across the area, so that's something to take note of here. But let's end things on a nice note here with this pretty picture. Jamie sending us this picture of Lake Monona. Again, the lakes are freezing over, but they're going to struggle next week as those temperatures climb back up into the 30s to the lower 40s, Eric. And folks, if you want to send us your weather photos, just grab your phone right now, scan that QR code in the upper left-hand part of the screen, and we'll try to get your photos on air. We'll be seeing plenty of photos of the snow melting away as we go into next week, I think.
I like the sound of that, Alex. Thank you. And track the forecast for yourself with our First Warn weather app with your hourly planners, road conditions, and the radar. You can download it for free. It's in your phone's app store. All you have to do is search WISC weather. Still ahead at 5, a new documentary about the King of England is coming to a streaming service soon. Ion Entertainment tells us where you'll be able to watch and when. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Actor Anthony Hopkins celebrates a life-changing milestone as K-pop enters 2026 with a bang. Gwen Baumgartner has your Ion Entertainment report.
The King of England is headed for streaming empire Prime Video. The platform just announced a new documentary highlighting King Charles' passion for environmental preservation.
Our children and grandchildren will ask not what our generation said, but what it did.
The documentary, called Finding Harmony, A King's Vision, incorporates interviews and archival footage of the king, who states that a sustainable world requires harmony between humans and nature.
His Majesty united so many different people because the only path forward is together.
The film, done in partnership with Amazon Prime and the King's Foundation, an educational charity established by the monarch, will be released in February. This letter is sending K-pop fans into a frenzy, teasing the return of Korean boy band BTS with this handwritten announcement. The band went on hiatus in 2022 following the release of song Yet to Come, so members could perform mandatory military service. Social media accounts for BTS were wiped of all photos ahead of the comeback announcement. New music will drop in March. Actor Sir Anthony Hopkins is ringing in the new year with 50 years of sobriety.
Life is much better. So I stopped, without bragging, I got help, and 50 years ago today was the end.
Hopkins posted about his sobriety milestone on social media, encouraging others to seek help if they have problems with alcohol. The post coincides with Hopkins turning 88 this week.
So maybe I did something right, I don't know. Anyway, Happy New Year and a happy, happy life.
That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And stay with us for a final check of your First Warn forecast.
Tonight, what killed a hiker on a Colorado trail? Investigators suspect it was a mountain lion. We'll have details on the precautions wildlife officials are now taking. And the rush home is a messy one for millions of travelers. We'll have the latest and your forecast. That's ahead on the CBS Evening News.
Coming up at 6, after UW-Madison's former DEI director was found to have given out unauthorized raises, the school brought in a third party to find ways to improve oversight. What recommendations were made in a new report? That story and more at the top of the hour. 4 Badgers and 2 former Badgers will represent the United States at the 2026 Winter Olympic Games this February. Layla Edwards, Carolyn Harvey, Kirsten Sims, and Ava McNaughton made the U.S. Olympic hockey team. All 4 currently play for the Badgers women's team. 2 former Badgers, Hillary Knight and Britta Curl Salemi, also on the team. All 6 have competed for Team USA in recent months, taking on Team Canada in the 2025 rivalry series in November and December. The U.S. won all 4 games, outscoring Canada 24-7. Those Olympics, by the way, about a month away in Italy. And Alex is back with a final check of the forecast.
Yes, let's get ready for a warm-up. We had winter return for, I don't know, a couple days, and here comes the warm stuff again. Tonight, this is where we should be. Temperatures in the teens. Clouds will be back on the increase tonight. Clouds will be around on Saturday, but can't rule out a couple of snow showers and flurries with temperatures in the 20s. But winter is limited because then the warm-up is going to start to begin by the time we get into Sunday evening with a little price to pay. Light snow and freezing drizzle. If you missed Future Track earlier, join me tonight at 6. We'll track that weather system together as we go into the warm period ahead. And then I'm going to take us even beyond that a little bit further at 6 with our temperature outlook.
All right, Alex, thank you. CBS Evening News is next. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. And you can always find us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+.